Chapter number 10. Britney starts singing. As a child, Britney was almost another appendage for me. I could never be without her, even if I wanted to. She was such a mama's girl from the very first start. When she was little and involved in gymnastics, Britney had to be able to see me through the window of the gym where she and the other kids would be doing cartwheels and splits and somersaults, or she would burst into tears. I had to be careful because Britney could pick up on my thoughts and moods without me saying a word. In the years to me, when she would be in some far-flung place across the world from me, she and I would at times have this sixth sense that something was going on with the other. If it was me, my phone would ring and it would be Britney, wondering what was wrong. I don't know why my little girl and I were so connected. We just were. When all my children were 3 years old, I wrote them a poem, expressing my hopes and dreams for them. Here is a piece of the poem I wrote for Britney. Sometimes when I see the sparkle in her eye, it makes me sad. I want to cry. Cruel world, turn away. Spare my little star. Let her wit and charming beauty go very far. When I look back at those words, I honestly have no idea how I knew certain things were going to happen. I am no prophet, yet people have pointed out that my poem seems to see into the future. All I knew was that I had a charming and talented girl who I loved before the life itself. As her mom, Britney was a star to me. The line "Cruel world, turn away, spare my little star" especially hits a nerve today. After years of seeing how fame brings with it unrelenting pleasure, the always present paparazzi and endless criticism from the media, I know just how cruel the world can be. But when Britney was a young girl, all the negative aspects of fame were light years away. In fact, fame was nothing I ever imagined would happen to any of us. I was just living my life, enjoying the everyday events at our house that now seem so precious, like all the times Britney and Laura Lynne would play mummies in the little playhouse we had built for them. Britney preferred baby dolls over Barbie dolls any day of the week. She was nurturing soul from the start, and she obviously loved to dance. By the time she was 2, she was dancing all over the house, so I decided to sign her up for lessons to her and an outlet for her constant movement. At 3, she was the leader of the pack. At her first dance recital, her job was to lead all the other little dancers on stage in the right position. All the little girls would lean over during the dance to look at Britney to make sure they were doing the right steps. She was always sure of herself. When she was 4 years old, her dance teacher wanted to do a solo dance at the recital. It was the first time Britney was singled out in that way. I just stepped back and watched, proud, of course, but also somewhat puzzled as to where she got those natural gifts as a dancer. They certainly weren't from me. Britney could sing too. From the time she was a toddler, she would sing along with me, or the car radio, or theme songs peeping out of the television set. Even then, I thought she had a strong voice for such a little girl. But then again, mother Mothers are biased creatures, aren't they? As it turned out, though, people other than then we started to notice Britney's singing voice and her obvious joy in performing around anyone who would listen. If I had a nickel for every time I heard someone tell me Britney was Broadway's bound, I'd be wrapped in a towel someplace hot, waiting for my spa treatment right now. There was another if I had a nickel statement too. Many people who heard Britney sing or saw her would look me in the eye and say, "Your daughter has a gift." Some of them even said out loud, part two of that sentence, "What are you doing to do about it?" What was I going to do to help my gifted child achieve her potential? I didn't really think it through, to be honest. I shuttled her to lessons and the occasional competition. I flipped through 1,000 magazines and I drank 1,000 cups of bad coffees as I waited for her to get done, just like any other soccer mom or gymnastics mom. I would have rather been back home cooking dinner, cleaning my house, and spending time with my family, but that's how I supported Britney in what she wanted to do. As with Brian's sports, if Britney's gymnastics and dancing didn't interfere too much with our family life, I would try to accommodate those things. And Britney was obviously determined to do it all. If she had been in charge, no doubt we would have been out every night and every weekend at dance recitals and gymnastics competitions. She was extremely driven for a young girl, tenacious in her desire to be the best at what she loved. At the same time, she was starting to compete in dancing and singing. Britney was really getting into gymnastics. She was trying to keep up both her dancing and her gymnastics, and I'll tell you, it wasn't working. Not one little bit. Any parent who has tried to juggle too many interests at once for a child knows what I mean. We had to have a talk. "Baby," I said when I sat her down one day. "You don't do both gymnastics and dancing and singing. It's killing you and it's killing me. You have to choose one." She chose dancing and singing. Unstoppable. One year when she was just 5 or 6, Britney won a singing and dancing competition at Dairy Days, a local festival we have here in our dairy intensive area of Louisiana. I had to be right there on the side of the stage so she knew I was there. Dance teachers and others started to take more notice of Britney, suggesting that she compete at the other talent competitions. All of the competitions were within an hour's drive, so it didn't seem like the big of a deal. One time I took her to Lafayette, Louisiana, to a talent competition. There were so many contestants. I was warned to keep Britney away from a certain little girl. The girl's mother had taught her daughter to intimidate whoever was her biggest competitor. The girl had pinched. The girl had pinched Britney the last time she was in a competition with her. This time, though, she marched up to my daughter and told her, "You're not any good. I'm going to win today no matter what you do." Britney didn't say a word. Instead, she strode right up and that stage and sang as she was Aretha Franklin, though the song itself was probably Sweet Georgia Brown or Harvest Moon. My itty bitty girl belted out that song with a voice that filled every creative of that theater with the biggest, most clear-pitched sound ever. She won, hands down, but I was much more proud of how she handled herself in that intimidating situation. I cried to see that little forceful angel get out on that stage and take control. When Britney was about 8, we got talked into doing a little Miss Something beauty pageant because there was supposedly an emphasis on talent over looks in this one. Right, I should have known better. I had never wanted her near one of those things because the way they were set up seemed so unfair to some children. While a young girl could work hard to make her leap higher or her steps more precise, there was nothing much she could do to improve the content God gave her. The pageant lived up to my fears. The mothers were awful backstage, prepping their daughters and bickering among themselves. I was horrified by the whole thing. Of course, since we were completely green about the pageant system, I put her in the wrong dress. It didn't even fit properly, and the wrong kind of socks. Britney ended up placing near the bottom, and the poor little thing was in tears. A friend of mine said we should try one more. You can't let this child end on this tone. She told me she'll never feel pretty again, and her mama always told her she was the most beautiful girl in the world. I wanted Britney to feel good about herself because of who she was and how she treated people, not because some silly pageant told her she was or was not pretty enough. I emphasized the team dance competition trope she was in it with other girls, which brought out her best qualities of friendship and leadership and hard work. As a mom, I felt good about those competitions because she could work hard and get better with her teammates and her helping one another to be their best. The interesting thing about Britney is that she was always, and I do mean always, highly motivated to excel. She raised the bar for herself and went after whatever goal or level of excellence she set her mind to. Never once did I have to get up on her case to practice. Never. If anything, she practiced so much it drove me crazy. I would say, baby, just relax for a minute or two. Please, you're making me tired. But day after day, week after week, year after year during that area, Britney would be wearing out the floor with her dance steps and tearing off the roof of our house singing the latest hit by Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, or Madonna. She was, in a word, unstoppable. Stage mom? People always wanted to know how I got Britney on the path of stardom, as if I held some kind of magical secret for leading a child down that glittering corridor to fame and fortune. Trust me, I have no such secrets. To be totally honest, we just stumbled on the dancing path, and one thing kind of led to another. Little girl dance lessons led to very small local competitions, which then I resulted in slightly bigger regional competitions. The farther afield we would travel, the more new faces we would meet, and some of those new people would hear Britney sing. And they would suggest another competition. And so it went very great, gradually growing in terms of the level of talent and the stakes that went along with it. As long as it didn't interfere with our family life or our work schedules, I was willing to do my part to support my daughter's dreams, and Britney dreamed big dreams. This is probably the part where I should defend myself from the claims that I was a pushy stage mother, prodding my unwilling child from the audition to the next. To be honest, I am always a little startled when I heard that's what folks think about me. I'm somewhat oblivious sometimes. Trust me, in this crazy world of Hollywood and tabloids, oblivious is an excellent quality to cultivate, and quite frankly, it's a waste of ink to defend myself because people will believe what they want to believe anyway. The worst connotation of the archetypical stage mom is that she dreams of fame and fortune at any cost of her child, knowing all along that her ambition is for herself. I've seen moms like this since Britney was a little girl. The Pincher's mother is a prime example, and they always make me cringe for their children. I want to help along my child and her dreams, but I was also reluctant to jump into the deep end when I didn't really know who or what would be swimming in the pool alongside us. I had no idea someday we would be awash in sharks.